What's up, guys? Flesh Tanks. Empty tank, fluval flora, about to be substrated with dirt. I promised everybody if dirt beat substrate in the dirt versus substrate challenge, that's what I would end up doing with one of my display tanks upstairs, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Real quick, picture contest and customer appreciation on Fired Up Aquatics. The winners are on the website. If you guys haven't been contacted by Mr. Mom Tanks, you will be soon. And get your video responses in for the YouTube contest, guys. Here we go. This is the piece of manzanita wood that I chose to put in the tank. I put in like 30 other pieces of wood and raw combinations. And in this piece right here was the actual first piece that I put in there. And it was the piece that I ended up choosing. It's weird like that. Here we go with some of the plants that I'm going to be using. Obviously you see a ton of moss. I mean, it's tied to every inch of it except at the bases of each little tiny branch, and that's because that's going to be in the substrate here in a minute. Willow moss, guys. It's a great plant, easy to use. I use it in a number of tanks. So here's the substrate process. I used Floramax as the base because I didn't want to put up, I wanted to have some height in the substrate, and I didn't want to have 4 inches of dirt and a 2-inch cap and vice versa. Here's the dirt. I'll show you guys the dirt that I used here in a later date. It's not cheap dirt, guys. I paid 30 bucks a bag for it. It's premium dirt, if there is such a thing. Here we go with the cap is on, Floramax cap. Piece of manzanita wood with the willow moss is put in the tank. I think it looks great so far. I mean, I don't know. I like moss tied to wood. It's one of the cooler looking things, in my opinion. I'm getting ready to start planting it. I chose to go with crypts, red and green Winty crypts, and there's a few at the very end that I put in retrospiralis just to give it, a different contrast. Crypts, guys, super easy to care for. Don't need a ton of light, don't need a ton of extra nutrients, which they're going to be getting in this tank, but you don't have to put those things in the tank. They don't need CO2 to grow, which there is CO2 on this tank, but you don't need all that stuff, guys, to get a real nice big forest of crypts. Honestly, in this tank, I chose almost every plant that I chose for this tank was low to medium light. There's one plant that you got to have a little bit higher light, which I'll show you here in a second. That, well, right there you can see there's some stargrass in the front left corner, and I'm about to put the higher light plant in, which is Lowigia perensis. I'm probably butchering that name. It's got like a real nice pink coloration to it on the other side. The higher the light, dosing, iron, CO2, it's going to bring that coloration out. So far we got crypts, stargrass in the front left, Lowigia perensis, and then right now I'm putting in some golden lodelia. It's yellow bacopa, guys, but it's got you could see the color contrast between everything else in the tank and that plant. Once again, super easy plant, love it. Left side, I planted a bunch of Lowigia ovalis. So Lowigia ovalis, stargrass in the front left, Lowigia perensis, bacopa, and then some crypts. This is right after I filled it up. Obviously it's cloudy, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's not too bad at all. And here in about 3 seconds, I'll show you about 12 hours later. Right here, all cleared up. Got some DIY CO2 pumping in the tank. And I mean, I thought it came out pretty well. Super, super easy scape. Nano tanks can be tough just because there's really not a lot of room to work with, but that's the tank, guys. A little nano planted tank. Flesh Tanks, Mr. Mom Tanks, firedupaquatics.net, firedupfishtanks.ning.com. BUNDLEMANIA.